The Quantum Research Station, perched like a silent sentinel at the edge of the solar system, its array of listening devices constantly sifting through the cosmic background radiation. Most people believed it was just another scientific outpost, a monument to human curiosity about the universe. Few understood the true significance of the work happening inside its reinforced walls. Dr. Elena Rodriguez adjusted her worn leather jacket, a contrast to the pristine white laboratory environment surrounding her. Her fingers danced across holographic displays, each movement precise and calculated. Something had been nagging at her for weeks, a persistent anomaly that refused to be ignored. The station's main research hub hummed with sophisticated equipment, a cathedral of scientific exploration. Banks of quantum computers processed massive amounts of data, their cooling systems creating a soft, steady background noise. Outside the reinforced windows, the endless black of space stretched into infinity, punctuated by distant pinpricks of starlight. "There it is again," Elena muttered, zooming in on a peculiar signal pattern. It wasn't like anything she had encountered in her 15 years of deep space research. The signal didn't conform to any known natural phenomenon. It was too structured, too intentional to be random cosmic noise. Her research team had been tracking the anomaly for months. At first, it appeared intermittent, like a distant heartbeat pushing against the fabric of space-time. But recently, the signal had become more frequent, more intense. Something was approaching. Something big. Dr. Marcus Chen, Elena's second-in-command, approached her workstation. His reflection appeared ghost-like in the holographic displays, a testament to the station's advanced optical systems. "Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" he asked, his voice a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Elena nodded, her eyes never leaving the display. The signal was unlike any previous deep space communication they had studied. It carried a complexity that suggested intentionality, a form of communication far beyond natural cosmic radiation. Mathematical patterns emerged and dissolved, creating a language that seemed to exist between mathematical precision and something more, alive. "It's not random," she said quietly. "This is structured communication, intelligent communication." The research station had been designed to listen, to capture the faintest whispers from the depths of space. Located at the outer edges of the solar system, it represented humanity's most advanced attempt to understand what might exist beyond their cosmic neighborhood. Funded through a collaborative international effort, the station represented the best of human scientific achievement: curiosity, persistence, and an unquenchable desire to understand the unknown. Marcus pulled up additional data streams, overlaying complex mathematical models onto the original signal. "The mathematical complexity is extraordinary," he observed. "These aren't simple mathematical progressions. There's an adaptive quality to the signal, almost like it's responding to our attempts to analyze it." Elena's mind raced with possibilities. First contact scenarios had been theoretical discussions for decades, the stuff of scientific conferences and speculative papers. Now, potentially, they were witnessing the real thing. The signal suggested something was approaching, something with technological capabilities far beyond human understanding. Years of training and research had prepared her for this moment, though no one could truly be prepared for what might be coming. The signal continued its complex dance across the quantum sensors, revealing glimpses of a communication method that defied current scientific understanding. "We need to alert the global scientific community," Elena said, her voice steady despite the enormous implications of what they were discovering. "But we need to be strategic. This can't become a panic scenario." Marcus began preparing secure communication protocols. Their research station was designed with multiple layers of communication security, understanding the sensitive nature of potential extraterrestrial discoveries. They would need to move carefully, methodically. As the signal continued its mesmerizing pattern, Elena couldn't shake a feeling of profound anticipation. Humanity was about to change forever. Something was coming, something that would challenge everything they understood about their place in the universe. The quantum computers continued their silent work, processing the alien signal. Outside, Space remained unchanged, vast, dark, and full of infinite possibilities. But everything was about to be different. The first ships appeared without warning. Crystalline structures of impossible geometry materialized at the edge of Earth's atmosphere, their surfaces shifting and refracting light in ways that defied known physics. Massive and silent, they hung like architectural nightmares against the blue backdrop of the planet. Global defense systems activated within seconds. Missile batteries along coastal regions tracked the alien vessels, their targeting systems struggling to lock onto shapes that seemed to exist between dimensions. Military communications flooded with urgent transmissions, a cacophony of confusion and mounting terror. In the Pentagon's underground command center, General Sarah Winters watched holographic displays flicker with incoming data. Her weathered hands gripped the edge of the central console, knuckles white with tension. Decades of military strategy seemed to dissolve in an instant, rendered meaningless by the incomprehensible technology hovering above major cities. They're not responding to any communication protocols, a young communications specialist reported, her voice trembling. No radio, no electromagnetic signals, nothing. The first attack came with surgical precision. Focused energy beams lanced down from the alien vessels, vaporizing military installations, communication networks, and critical infrastructure. Washington, D.C. disappeared in a flash of blue-white light. Major cities across the globe, Beijing, Moscow, London, Tokyo, suffered similar fates. Entire networks of power and communication collapsed within minutes. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched from the quantum research station, her scientific mind racing to process the unfolding catastrophe. The alien signal they had detected now made terrifying sense. This was no exploration. This was systematic elimination. They're targeting our communication and defense capabilities, Marcus observed, his fingers flying across multiple screens. It's a surgical strike designed to completely paralyze our global response. Military forces around the world found themselves cut off, isolated, and overwhelmed. Traditional weapons seemed like primitive toys against the aliens' advanced technology. Fighter jets disintegrated before they could even launch. Naval fleets became nothing more than floating targets, their most advanced missile systems useless against shields that seemed to absorb or deflect any incoming attack. But humanity's response was anything but defeated. In makeshift command centers, underground bunkers, and hidden research facilities, the survivors began to adapt. Scientists who had been working on theoretical quantum communication, experimental energy systems, and advanced computational models suddenly found themselves on the front lines of humanity's survival. Dr. Rodriguez's research team began analyzing the limited data they had collected. The quantum sensors that had first detected the alien signal now provided crucial insights. Their technology is based on a completely different understanding of physical laws. She explained to a group of military and scientific leaders gathered in a secure communication hub. But every technology has weaknesses. We just need to find them. Universities became war rooms. Research labs transformed into strategic planning centers. Programmers, mathematicians, physicists, and engineers worked in unprecedented collaboration. The traditional boundaries between disciplines dissolved in the face of an existential threat. In Silicon Valley, a group of computer scientists discovered something intriguing in the initial attack patterns. The alien systems, for all their advanced technology, followed predictable computational logic. They were efficient, but not truly adaptive. Where human systems might introduce controlled chaos, the alien technology sought perfect optimization. They're like a supremely advanced computer, one researcher noted. Powerful, but ultimately bound by their programming. Military survivors began gathering in hidden locations. Special forces units, cut off from central command, started developing guerrilla-style resistance strategies. They understood that traditional warfare was impossible. Survival would require something entirely different. Global communication networks had been destroyed, but human ingenuity found alternatives. Amateur radio operators, University communication labs, and surviving satellite fragments became lifelines. Information began to flow through unexpected channels. As the first day of the invasion drew to a close, humanity faced its darkest moment. Billions were dead. Major cities were destroyed. Governments had collapsed. But something else was emerging, a collective response unlike anything in human history. In research stations, military bunkers, and makeshift command centers around the world, a singular thought began to take shape. This was not the end. This was the beginning of humanity's most important battle. The alien invasion had begun. But humanity was far from defeated. The underground network formed like a living organism, spreading across continents through the most unexpected channels. What began as isolated pockets of resistance quickly evolved into a global collaborative effort that defied all traditional communication methods. In an abandoned subway station beneath New York City, Dr. Elena Rodriguez set up a makeshift command center. Salvaged computer equipment, solar power banks, and jury-rigged communication devices created a hub of scientific innovation. Around her, a diverse group of researchers, engineers, and former military personnel worked with intense concentration. "We're not just fighting a war," Elena explained to a group of newly arrived volunteers. "We're solving a complex puzzle. The aliens have technology beyond our current understanding, but every system has vulnerabilities." Across the world, similar centers of resistance emerged. A mathematics professor in Mumbai coordinated with a quantum physicist in Sao Paulo. A retired military strategist in Sydney exchanged insights with a computer security expert in Toronto. The global collaboration transcended previous barriers of language, nationality, and discipline. Dr. Marcus Chen focused on decoding the alien communication patterns they had first detected at the research station. His team used sophisticated quantum computing techniques to analyze the smallest fragments of intercepted alien signals. "It's like they communicate through a form of adaptive mathematics," he muttered, studying complex holographic displays. In a hidden facility in the Swiss Alps, a team of linguists and computer scientists worked on something unprecedented. Led by Dr. Amélie Laurent, they sought to understand the fundamental communication logic of the alien invaders. Their approach wasn't about translation. It was about comprehension. "Languages are more than words," Amélie explained to her team. "They're systems of thought. If we can understand how the aliens think, we can predict their actions." The resistance developed a distributed network that couldn't be centrally targeted. Information moved like water, finding paths around obstacles, adapting constantly. When one communication channel was discovered and destroyed, 3 more would emerge. Former military personnel brought tactical expertise. Scientists provided technological insights. Programmers developed adaptive communication algorithms. Artists contributed creative problem-solving approaches that defied conventional logic. A breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A group of young programmers discovered that the alien technological systems, for all their advanced capabilities, followed predictable computational patterns. They were efficient but lacked the creative unpredictability of human thinking. "They optimize," one programmer explained. "We innovate." The underground network began collecting and analyzing every piece of data from the initial invasion. Satellite fragments, damaged alien technology, intercepted signals, nothing was overlooked. Each piece of information became a potential weapon. In an abandoned research facility in the Canadian wilderness, a team developed experimental electromagnetic disruption technologies. They studied the alien ship's energy signatures, looking for potential weaknesses. It wasn't about matching their technology. It was about finding innovative ways to interfere with it. Communication became an art form of survival. Amateur radio operators, university research teams, and surviving military communication units created a global mesh network. Information traveled through encrypted channels, using methods that would have seemed impossible before the invasion. Elena watched as a young engineer demonstrated a communication system built from salvaged smartphone components and quantum computing principles. "We're creating something entirely new," the engineer said, her eyes bright with excitement. They can't predict what we'll do next because we don't even know ourselves. The Resistance understood something crucial. Their greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was adaptability. Where the alien invaders sought perfect optimization, humans thrived on creativity, on the ability to make unexpected connections. Global collaboration reached unprecedented levels. A researcher in Kenya might solve a critical problem that a team in Russia had been struggling with. A high school student's theoretical model could become the basis of a breakthrough defense strategy. As weeks passed, the underground network grew stronger. They weren't just surviving. They were learning, adapting, preparing to fight back. The alien invasion had brought humanity to its knees. But in doing so, it had also unleashed something extraordinary, a global human potential that no technological superiority could defeat. The real battle was just beginning. The breakthrough came from an unexpected combination of disciplines. In a converted research facility deep within the Rocky Mountains, a team of scientists from seemingly unrelated fields gathered around a holographic display. Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched as mathematicians, quantum physicists, neurologists, and computer engineers worked in perfect synchronization. Kai Chen, a brilliant young programmer, had been studying the alien communication patterns for weeks. His breakthrough emerged not from traditional computational approaches, but from an interdisciplinary insight that merged quantum mechanics with neural network theory. It's not just about processing power, Kai explained, his fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. It's about understanding adaptive intelligence. The team had discovered a fundamental weakness in the alien technological systems. While incredibly advanced, the invaders' computational framework relied on predictive algorithms that assumed linear problem-solving. Humans, by contrast, could make intuitive leaps that defied traditional logical progression. Dr. Amélie Laurent, a cognitive neuroscientist, demonstrated how human creativity could generate solutions that would be impossible for a purely logical system to predict. Our brains don't just process information, she said. We create entirely new neural pathways in response to unique challenges. Their experimental system began to take shape, a quantum communication network that could adapt in real time. Unlike traditional computer systems, this network would learn and evolve with each interaction. It wasn't just a technological tool, it was a living, thinking system that captured the essence of human unpredictability. Marcus Chen worked on the mathematical foundations, developing algorithms that could introduce controlled chaos into computational systems. The aliens optimize, he explained. We randomize. And in that randomization, we find our strength. The facility buzzed with an electric sense of possibility. Researchers from different backgrounds shared insights, their conversations jumping between complex mathematical theories, neurological research, and practical engineering challenges. Whiteboards filled with diagrams that connected seemingly unrelated concepts, quantum entanglement, neural network theory, evolutionary biology, and advanced computational design. A breakthrough came when a team of game theory experts joined the research. They brought insights from fields as diverse as economics, psychology, and competitive strategy. The alien invasion was becoming a complex problem that required more than just technological solutions. They're playing chess, one researcher noted. We're playing something they can't even comprehend. The quantum communication network took shape as something unprecedented. It wasn't a traditional computer system, but an adaptive intelligence that could learn, predict, and respond in ways that defied traditional computational logic. Each component could communicate and adapt independently, creating a distributed network of incredible complexity. Kai developed a revolutionary approach to quantum computing that drew inspiration from biological systems. The network would function like a living organism, able to heal itself, adapt to new challenges, and generate unexpected solutions. Global research centers began contributing to the project. A team in Japan developed breakthrough quantum encryption methods. Researchers in Brazil created adaptive neural network algorithms. A group of mathematicians in South Africa discovered new ways of introducing probabilistic reasoning into computational systems. The facility became a beacon of hope. Military strategists, who had initially been skeptical, began to see the potential. This wasn't just a technological solution, it was a fundamental reimagining of how intelligence could function. "We're not just building a weapon," Elena told a group of military advisors. "We're creating a new form of intelligence that captures the essence of human potential." The experimental system began to show remarkable capabilities. It could predict potential alien attack vectors with unprecedented accuracy. More importantly, it could generate response strategies that were completely unpredictable from the invader's perspective. As the day drew to a close, the team gathered around the central holographic display. The quantum network pulsed with potential, a living, breathing testament to human creativity and collaborative potential. Kai looked at Elena, a mixture of excitement and determination in his eyes. "We're ready to show them what humanity can do," he said. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was no longer just defending. They were preparing to fight back in a way no one could have predicted. Psychological warfare became humanity's most unexpected weapon. The quantum communication network developed by Dr. Elena Rodriguez's team was more than a technological marvel. It was a living system that captured the unpredictable essence of human creativity. The first test came unexpectedly. An alien reconnaissance vessel approached a seemingly abandoned research facility in the Australian outback. What appeared to be a derelict site was actually an elaborate psychological trap designed to exploit the invaders' computational thinking. Dr. Marcus Chen monitored the operation from a hidden command center. Beside him, a team of psychologists, linguists, and strategic analysts watched the holographic displays with intense concentration. "They're approaching exactly as we predicted," he whispered. The alien vessel's sensors detected minimal life signs, typical heat signatures, and what appeared to be degraded technological infrastructure. Its computational systems began processing the information, running predictive algorithms to assess the site's potential threat level. What the aliens didn't realize was that every detected signal was carefully crafted. The heat signatures were generated by advanced thermal manipulators. The seemingly random technological remnants were precisely positioned to create a specific psychological response. Each element told a story, but not the story the aliens would expect. Dr. Amelie Laurent, the cognitive neuroscientist, explained the strategy to a group of military strategists. "We're not just hiding," she said. "We're communicating in a language they can't understand. We're creating cognitive dissonance." The facility was a carefully constructed narrative. Fragments of research data suggested multiple contradictory research paths. Deliberately placed equipment showed signs of both advanced technological development and complete abandonment. Temperature variations, electromagnetic emissions, and even the positioning of objects told a complex, intentionally confusing story. As the alien vessel drew closer, the team watched with bated breath. Their goal wasn't to destroy the ship, it was to make the aliens question everything they understood about human capabilities. Kai Chen had developed an adaptive communication protocol that could generate real-time psychological responses. The system could create communication patterns that would seem completely nonsensical to a purely logical computational mind. It was language as a form of camouflage, communication as misdirection. The alien vessel's sensors began to malfunction. Computational systems that relied on predictive modeling found themselves confronted with scenarios that defied all logical analysis. What should have been a simple reconnaissance mission became a complex psychological puzzle. "They're trying to understand," one of the linguists observed. "But understanding isn't their primary function. Optimization is." Suddenly, the alien vessel began to retreat. Its computational systems had encountered something they couldn't process, a level of complexity that went beyond their understanding of intelligence. The team celebrated quietly. This wasn't just a small victory. It was proof of a fundamental principle they had been developing. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't technological superiority. It was the ability to think beyond logic, to create, to imagine. Global research centers began developing similar psychological warfare strategies. Each approach was unique, drawing from diverse cultural and intellectual traditions. A team in Brazil developed strategies based on indigenous storytelling techniques. Researchers in Japan incorporated insights from Zen philosophy. A group in South Africa used complex mathematical models inspired by traditional tribal problem-solving approaches. The quantum communication network became a living, breathing system of psychological innovation. It could generate communication patterns that were simultaneously meaningless and meaningful, a form of intelligence that defied traditional computational understanding. Elena Rodriguez looked at the team gathered around her. They represented a cross-section of humanity. Different ages, backgrounds, disciplines. "We're not just fighting," she said. "We're demonstrating what makes us unique." As days passed, more alien reconnaissance missions encountered similar psychological barriers. Their computational systems, designed for perfect optimization, began to struggle with the fundamental unpredictability of human intelligence. The invaders had expected a straightforward conquest. Instead, they found themselves confronting something they could never have anticipated. A species that didn't just solve problems, but reimagined the very nature of problem-solving. The psychological war had begun, and humanity was just getting started. The quantum breakthrough came at the moment when hope seemed most fragile. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the underground research facility, surrounded by a team that had been working for weeks without rest. The holographic displays flickered with complex mathematical patterns that seemed to dance between reality and pure imagination. Kai Chen's fingers moved across the quantum interface, creating a communication algorithm that defied everything the alien invaders understood about intelligence. It wasn't just a program. It was a living system of computational thought that could adapt, learn, and grow in ways no previous technology had ever achieved. "We're not just breaking their communication," Kai explained to the team. "We're fundamentally challenging their understanding of consciousness." The quantum virus they had developed was unlike any previous technological weapon. It wasn't designed to destroy. It was designed to communicate in a language so complex, so fundamentally alien to the invaders' computational systems, that it would force a complete recalibration of their understanding. Dr. Marcus Chen analyzed the preliminary test results. The algorithm could penetrate the aliens' communication networks, introducing patterns of thought that were simultaneously mathematical and creative. "It's like we're speaking in a language of pure possibility," he muttered, watching the complex data streams. The breakthrough had come from an unexpected convergence of disciplines. Quantum physicists worked alongside neurologists. Computer engineers collaborated with linguistic experts, and mathematicians developed theories with psychologists. Every breakthrough came from the spaces between traditional fields of study. Dr. Amélie Laurent, the cognitive neuroscientist, explained the core principle. "Intelligence isn't about processing power," she said. "It's about the ability to create, to imagine, to make connections that no one has seen before." The facility hummed with an electric sense of potential. Global research centers had been contributing pieces of the puzzle. A team in India developed breakthrough quantum encryption methods. Researchers in Argentina created adaptive neural network algorithms that could generate entirely new forms of computational thinking. Their target was the alien collective communication network, a system so advanced that it had seemed impenetrable. But humanity had discovered its fundamental weakness, a reliance on predictive logic that couldn't comprehend true creativity. The first test was carefully planned. A small probe would carry the quantum communication virus to the edge of the alien communication network. Unlike traditional computer viruses, this was a living system of thought, an algorithm that could adapt, learn, and grow in real time. As the probe launched, the team watched with a mixture of hope and tension. The holographic displays showed the virus penetrating the alien communication layers, introducing patterns of thought that defied traditional computational logic. "We're not destroying," Elena reminded the team. "We're communicating in a way they've never experienced." The quantum virus began to work in ways no one had completely predicted. It didn't just infiltrate the alien systems, it began to challenge their fundamental understanding of intelligence. Mathematical patterns emerged that were simultaneously precise and creative, logical, and imaginative. Global communication networks, rebuilt through human ingenuity, began to light up with preliminary results. Research centers around the world watched as the quantum virus did something unprecedented. It was forcing the alien computational systems to encounter a form of intelligence that went beyond their understanding. Kai watched the data streams with intense concentration. The virus was creating communication patterns that were simultaneously meaningless and profound. It introduced concepts that the alien systems couldn't process, ideas that existed in the spaces between logic and creativity. "They're trying to understand," one of the linguists observed, "but understanding isn't their primary function. Adaptation is." The alien communication networks began to show signs of fundamental disruption. Their perfectly optimized systems encountered something they had never experienced, a form of intelligence that didn't follow predictable patterns. As hours passed, the quantum virus continued its work. It wasn't just penetrating the alien systems, it was fundamentally challenging their understanding of consciousness, of intelligence, of the very nature of thought. Elena looked at her team. They represented the best of human potential, diverse, creative, willing to imagine beyond known boundaries. "We're showing them something they've never seen before," she said quietly. The quantum breakthrough was more than a technological achievement. It was a declaration of humanity's fundamental nature, a species defined by its ability to imagine, to create, to see possibilities where others saw only limitations. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was ready. The global counteroffensive began with a symphony of human ingenuity. Survivors from every continent, every background, united in a way no one could have predicted. Military veterans worked alongside scientists, artists collaborated with engineers, and students became crucial intelligence operatives. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood in the makeshift command center, a converted underground research facility that now served as humanity's strategic hub. Holographic displays showed a complex web of global resistance operations, each point of light representing a coordinated effort against the alien invasion. Kai Chen's quantum communication network had transformed the way humanity fought. Traditional military strategies gave way to something far more complex, a distributed, adaptive form of warfare that the alien invaders could never comprehend. Special forces units developed entirely new combat techniques. Instead of direct confrontation, they became masters of psychological and technological disruption. A team in the Andes Mountains could disable an alien reconnaissance ship using a combination of electromagnetic pulse technologies and complex communication interference. In the Pacific Northwest, a group of computer scientists and former military personnel developed mobile command centers that could change their technological signature in real time. They became ghosts in the technological landscape, impossible to track or predict. Dr. Marcus Chen coordinated global research efforts, ensuring that every breakthrough was immediately shared across the resistance network. A discovery in a small laboratory in Kenya could become a critical strategy implemented by resistance groups in South America within hours. The alien invasion fleet found itself confronting an enemy that defied all their computational predictions. Where they expected resistance to follow predictable patterns, they encountered constant adaptation. Every time they developed a counter-strategy, humanity would shift its approach in ways that seemed impossible. A team of psychologists and military strategists developed communication protocols that were themselves a form of weapon. They could send signals that would cause the alien computational systems to waste enormous resources trying to decode meaningless, yet mathematically complex, communication patterns. Dr. Annalee Lawrence's work on cognitive disruption became a crucial component of the resistance strategy. Her team developed communication techniques that could introduce fundamental cognitive challenges to the alien systems. It wasn't about destruction. It was about forcing a complete recalibration of their understanding of intelligence. Resistance cells around the world began to coordinate in unprecedented ways. A group of musicians in Brazil developed sound-based communication technologies that could penetrate alien communication networks. Engineering students in Japan created miniature drones that could adapt their technological signature in real time. The quantum communication network became a living, breathing system of resistance. It wasn't a centralized command structure, but a distributed intelligence that could adapt and respond to challenges in ways the aliens could never predict. Supply lines became works of creative genius. Resistance groups developed transportation methods that could change their technological signature instantaneously. Supplies moved like water, finding paths around obstacles, never following predictable routes. Alina watched as a group of young researchers developed a new type of electromagnetic camouflage. "We're not just hiding," one of them explained. "We're creating a form of technological communication that exists between visibility and invisibility." The alien invasion fleet began to show signs of fundamental disruption. Their perfectly optimized systems encountered something they had never experienced, an enemy that didn't just resist, but constantly reimagined the very nature of resistance. Global communication networks, rebuilt through human creativity, began to show signs of a coordinated global effort. Every resistance group, every research center, every surviving community became part of a larger adaptive intelligence. Kai Chen's quantum communication protocols allowed for a level of coordination that seemed almost telepathic. A resistance group in the Australian outback could coordinate with urban survivors in Tokyo in ways that defied traditional communication methods. The counteroffensive was more than a military strategy. It was a declaration of human potential, a demonstration that humanity's greatest strength was its ability to imagine, to adapt, to create possibilities where others saw only limitations. As the day drew to a close, Alina looked at the teams surrounding her. They represented the best of human potential, diverse, creative, unwilling to accept defeat. "We're not just fighting," she said. "We're reimagining what it means to resist." The global counteroffensive had begun, and humanity was just getting started. The final moments of the invasion arrived not with a thunderous battle, but with a profound silence of understanding. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood before a gathering of global leaders, representatives from every surviving research center, military unit, and resistance group. The underground conference hall buzzed with an electric sense of possibility. Kai Chen's quantum communication network had done more than defeat the alien invaders. It had fundamentally transformed humanity's understanding of itself. The holographic displays showed the final moments of the alien fleet's collapse, not through violent destruction, but through a complete systemic breakdown of their computational intelligence. "We didn't just win a war," Alina explained to the assembled group. "We demonstrated a new form of intelligence, one that values creativity, adaptation, and collective potential over pure optimization." The global community that emerged from the invasion was unlike anything in human history. Traditional boundaries of nationality, discipline, and social hierarchy had dissolved in the face of their collective struggle. A researcher from a small university in Argentina could now directly collaborate with military strategists in Japan, with communication flowing as naturally as thought. Dr. Marcus Chen presented the final analysis of the alien communication systems. Their perfectly optimized technological network had been fundamentally unprepared for a form of intelligence that didn't follow predictable patterns. Humanity's greatest weapon had been its ability to imagine, to create possibilities that existed beyond logical prediction. Representatives from global research centers shared their insights. A team from Nigeria explained how traditional cultural problem-solving techniques had become crucial to developing adaptive communication strategies. Researchers from India demonstrated how philosophical approaches to consciousness had informed their technological breakthroughs. The quantum communication network that had been developed during the invasion now became the foundation of a new global communication system. It wasn't just a technological achievement, it was a new way of understanding collective intelligence. Dr. Amélie Laurent presented her research on cognitive adaptation. The invasion had forced humanity to develop new ways of thinking, of communicating, of understanding intelligence itself. We learned that true intelligence isn't about processing power, she explained. It's about the ability to imagine, to create, to see possibilities where others see only limitations. Kai Chen demonstrated how the quantum communication protocols could now be used for unprecedented global collaboration. Research centers around the world could now share insights in real time, with communication flowing as naturally as thought. The boundaries between disciplines began to dissolve. The alien invasion had been a crucible that had transformed humanity. Global research centers now worked with a level of collaboration that would have seemed impossible before the invasion. A breakthrough in a small laboratory could now become a global strategy within hours. Elena looked at the assembled group: scientists, military strategists, artists, engineers, representatives from every corner of the globe. They represented something new, a collective intelligence that was greater than any individual or group. The technology developed during the invasion began to show promise for solving global challenges: climate research, medical innovation, space exploration. All became possible through this new form of collaborative intelligence. The quantum communication network allowed for a level of global cooperation that had never existed before. "We're not just survivors," Elena told the group. "We're architects of a new form of human potential." Global communication networks now functioned like living organisms. Information flowed like a neural network, with each breakthrough building upon the last. The rigid hierarchies of previous scientific and social structures had been replaced by a more fluid, adaptive approach. The representatives began to discuss the future. Space exploration programs were reimagined. Global scientific challenges were approached with a new level of collaborative potential. The boundaries between disciplines began to blur, with artists working alongside engineers, philosophers collaborating with computer scientists. Kai Chen demonstrated a new communication protocol that could allow for unprecedented levels of global collaboration. "We're not just sharing information," he explained. "We're creating a collective intelligence that can solve challenges we haven't even imagined yet." As the conference drew to a close, Elena looked out over the assembled group. They represented the best of human potential: diverse, creative, unwilling to accept limitations. The alien invasion had been a transformative moment, a crucible that had forged a new understanding of human capability. The holographic displays showed a world reimagined, a global community connected by a new form of intelligence. Humanity had not just survived. They had evolved. The invasion was over, but humanity's real journey was just beginning.